Fuck! Hey everyone, welcome to my review of Mega Man for the Nintendo Entertainment System. This game was released in 1987, before I was even born, and not once have I ever played this game or any other Mega Man game in the entire franchise. So I'm here to see what this game is all about. It's available for you to purchase on the Virtual Console for only $5. So without further ado, let's begin. So like I said, I've never once played a Mega Man game my entire life, and I gotta say, I've been missing out. Despite its simplistic gameplay and its sheer age, I can honestly say that I had a lot of fun playing through this. Just like any other game, it's got its fair share of flaws, but we'll get to that in a minute. First, let's start with the story. And once again, the plot is not told in the game, so I'm gonna have to rely on Google to figure out what it is. So I'm gonna need you guys to bear with me one more time due to the lack of cutscenes. In the year what? Humanity is highly advanced in the field of humanoid robotics. These two guys here, Dr. Light and Dr. Wily, are considered to be the smartest in this particular field. Dr. Light and his counterpart, Dr. Wily, would create robots to better mankind. His creations include these 6 robot masters here. They were created for the sole purpose of making work easier on humans so nobody gets hurt or injured. He also created 2 lab assistant robots by the name of Rock and Roll. Yeah, no pun intended, I'm sure. Anyway, these 2 are peaceful robots, and all they're meant to do is help Dr. Light around the lab. Dr. Light soon after started getting awards and recognition for all of his creations. This causes his colleague Dr. Wily to get extremely jealous. So to retaliate, Dr. Wily steals all the robot masters that Dr. Light created and creates some robots of his own to try and take over the world. Rock, containing a strong sense of justice, requests that Dr. Light transforms him into a battle robot, creating Mega Man, champion of justice and defender of peace. From there, Mega Man made it his mission to destroy the once friendly robot masters and to stop Dr. Wily from taking over the world. Mega Man finally succeeds in defeating all the robot masters and finally Dr. Wily himself. And with him defeated, you would think that Mega Man would use this chance to take him into custody. Well, you thought wrong. Mega Man just leaves him. Yeah, just leaves. And it's never stated what Mega Man even says to Wily while he's just laying there on the floor groveling at his feet. So I'm gonna assume it's gonna be like this. Hey man, I'm sorry, that was a wrong thing to do, don't hurt me, okay? You mean it? You're truly sorry? Yeah man, I'm truly sorry. Okay, bye. I sure showed that guy. Yeah! Well, and that covers the story. It's short, sweet, and to the point, and it's not very intricate either. But considering that this is the first game in the entire series, I can't really harp on it too much. My only real complaint is that you have to look it up to see what it is. Hell, apparently even the instruction manual didn't say what the story actually was. And apparently Mega Man letting Wily go at the end of the game is just a reoccurring thing that happens throughout the entire series. That's at least what I've heard anyway. So now that we got the story out of the way, let's get on with the gameplay. You assume the role of the blue bomber known as Mega Man, and the name of the game is Jump, Shoot, and Die. Yeah, seriously, that's all Mega Man can do. He can only jump and shoot directly in front of him. In the beginning of the game, your only weapon is this tiny little pea shooter. But as you progress through the game, you get a series of other weapons that you get to choose from after you defeat the respective robot master that holds it, which in turn makes Mega Man more versatile. But you have to defeat that robot master first. And what I think is really cool is that each of these robot masters has a weakness. And it's up to you to figure out what that weakness is. Obviously nowadays you can always just do what I did and look up the weaknesses on the internet. But think back to the late 80s and early 90s when the internet wasn't really a thing yet. You had to rely on your friends to give you advice or just look it up in Nintendo Power magazine. But anyway, once you defeat a robot master, you inherit its respective ability. Now some of these abilities are more useful than others. I cannot recall a single time I used Bomb Man's ability unless I was facing Guts Man. And I never used Guts Man's ability unless I needed to open up a specific path or use it against Cut Man. Cut Man's ability I found a little bit more use out of, but since it goes on an arc I didn't use it too much. I mainly just use it to defeat Elecman, and Elecman's ability is probably the most useful one in the game. It shoots in 3 directions and it one-shots pretty much just about every enemy. And of course it makes short work out of Iceman. And finally, Iceman's abilities freeze enemies and certain obstacles in their tracks, and it's also used as a weakness against Fireman. Which is kinda weird to me because, you know, fire kinda melts ice, just saying. And lastly, Flame Man's ability is pretty useful, but surprisingly, I never used it unless I was facing against Dr. Wily. You shoot a little fireball and then a rotating shield will surround Mega Man to protect him from airborne enemies. And on top of all those Robot Master abilities I just mentioned, there's one more that you can collect in a Elecman stage known as the Magnet Beam. And this is hands down the best power-up in the entire game. It makes all the platforming sections a complete non-issue. The only bad thing about it really is that the ammo for it depletes pretty quickly and the platforms that you create don't stay up for very long, so it could actually screw you over in the end. And Mega Man's sheer control can fuck you over as well. For the most part, Mega Man controls just fine. And as strange as it's gonna sound, he's got a combination of stiff but slippery control. He doesn't jump very far in the direction you want him to go, but as soon as he lands, he slips and slides like he carried a bunch of momentum. But aside from that, the control is fine and it really won't get in your way when you're trying to beat the game. But anybody that's played this game can agree with me that it's fucking hard. I mean really hard. The difficulty rests on the enemies that you encounter, the way each stage is structured, and then in some cases Mega Man's control. Stiff but slippery control? Check. Cheap enemy placement? Check. Platforming sections with a shitload of pitfalls? Check. Deceptively hard enemies to kill? Check. And let's not forget deaths via knockback. Oh yeah, this game has it all, everybody. I'm serious, there will be times where you'll want to pull your hair right out of your head due to shitty platforming. I mean, look at this right here. Fuck! And then there's these bouncing douchebags that appear at the most inopportune times. You'd think they'd be pretty easy to kill since it's so big, but they're not. They jump in a very strange pattern, and if they hit you, you are far past fucked. Shit! And I'm seriously not joking about this difficulty. There will be times where you're gonna want to throw your controller through the window. I mean, look at this! Fuck! 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 Shit! Fuck! You son of a bitch! Eat my shit! But you know what? None of that stuff compares to this asshole right here, the Yellow Devil. He hits hard, he takes a lot of damage, and you can only hit him once, maybe twice if you're lucky, before he shifts to the other side of the screen and fucks you up even more. Ugh, God damn it! Dude, seriously, fuck this thing. It's impossible. How the hell am I supposed to beat this when he moves like that? Oh, fuck. Oh, I paused the game. What the? Did he just take extra damage? Whoa, kick ass! I wish I'd known that before. If you just push the pause button over and over again, it'll kill off the Yellow Devil in seconds. That's fucking awesome. Alright, I'm not gonna bullshit you guys. I knew about this the entire time. This is known as the pause glitch. How it works is you select the Elect Beam, shoot it at the boss's weak spot, and mash the pause button over and over again until the boss drops. This is especially useful against bosses that are weak against the Elect Beam. Yeah, call me a cheater if you want, but I can honestly say that I tried to take these guys on in a fair fight and it just wasn't working. So I said fuck it. But in all seriousness, yeah, the game is pretty damn hard. But it's definitely not the hardest game you'll ever play. To be honest, Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link is a lot harder than this game. There are pretty cheap deaths to suffer throughout the entire playthrough, but I wouldn't consider any of it to be unfair. And to compensate for it, the game can be pretty generous with its pickups. Enemies can drop all sorts of things, whether it's ammo, health, or even an extra life. But bear in mind, it doesn't happen very often, and if it does, it's usually something that'll just boost up your useless score. Which is another thing I want to mention. You don't get any extra lives if you reach a certain score. It's not a huge deal, but I just figured I'd mention it. So aside from the difficulty, I have to say the game as a whole is pretty damn good. The graphics could have been better, but I'm not going to harp on it too bad because it is an early NES game. Occasionally the game will suffer from sprite flickering. It's not a huge deal, but it's definitely annoying when it happens. And I must say I really enjoyed the soundtrack here as well. Although I wouldn't download any of it and listen to it in my car, I definitely won't mind tapping my toes to any of the songs in this game, primarily in a Elecman stage. Call me weird, but I think it's a pretty catchy tune. And that covers Mega Man. In conclusion, I think the game is great. And what I think is awesome about it is that it has been ported that many times. Unlike Sonic and all these other major franchises, all their old games have been ported so many times and it ages them in a negative way. Although Mega Man has been ported, it has been nearly as much as, say, Sonic or Mario or all those other guys. So with its decent graphics, its outstanding gameplay and soundtrack, but ball-busting difficulty, I've come to the overall score of a 7 out of 10. Like I said earlier, this is the first time I've ever played any Mega Man game and I do not regret my purchase. So if you have a Wii U, you need to go to the Virtual Console right now and give Nintendo $5 for this game. It's worth every penny. But just know that if you do, you're probably going to want to bring some Rogaine. You're definitely going to need it. But with all that out of the way, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my video, give me a like, a share, and a subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. The links are in the description below. Tune in for my next video. I want to let you guys know I'm going to go back to Sonic, but I'm not going to tell you guys what game it is, so you're just going to have to wait and find out to see what it is. But until that video comes out, you guys have a great night, and take care. And apparently what... bleh.